You're listening to the Get Peeled podcast, a space for life enthusiasts to get inspired, learn through others about fitness, business, relationships, and life itself. I'm your host, Hannah Eden, a fitness entrepreneur that has an obsession with sweating and a burning desire to share and inspire others with the lessons that I have learned through fitness. Welcome back to the Get Peeled podcast. I'm Hannah Eden.
And I'm Paul Barreto, your co-host.
Yo.
Are you the host?
Oh yeah, I'm the host. Yeah, right. I'm the host. Guess what? That's right.
That's it. That's good.
No, you're the host.
No, you're the host.
You're the host. That's hilarious. Well, for real. We're here, we're back to talk about our new program, Beyond. And as always, we kind of align some sort of theme to a program that we release because we understand the mental changes that have happened to us through fitness that goes beyond the physical.
Right. I guess one of the most common things that we can find nowadays are fitness professionals, amazing ones, selling programs of all sorts. The one thing that we always try to create our own lane with is to develop fitness programs ranging from 4 weeks to 12 weeks. However, like Anna said, to tie in some sort of mental work to it. And this time around is going to be 5-part series of this podcast. This is podcast number 1. And in each podcast, we're going to be talking about the 1 week of our program. 5-week program called Beyond, coming soon.
That's right. So just a couple of details on the actual program itself. We've had a lot of requests over the years to do sorry about that, I definitely didn't put my phone on silent.
That's fine.
To do a double kettlebell program, or do a kettlebell program specifically. Mm-hmm. And so we did it. This is it. You need a minimum of 2 kettlebells that are equal, and if you have access to a heavier bell, we highly suggest that you do that too.
So 3 total.
Yep, 3 total, and that's it. It's 5 workouts a week for 5 weeks long. Each workout is under 60 minutes, we'll say that. Mm-hmm. And we go through different things. We do a lot with these unconventional tools, these weird and wonderful shapes. We do a lot of different types of training with it. Throughout the week itself, what the fuck is funny?
Weird and wonderful shapes. What does that mean?
It's an unconventional tool. Someone might be listening and not know what kettlebell is.
That is true. Good point.
I'm not going to talk
I
as
eat my
and
words.
expect, you know?
I eat my words.
But they're these weird tools, unconventional, odd
Wonderful.
shapes, weird and wonderful things.
Weird, man.
No, I am weird. What do you want? It's
That's
been a long
okay.
day and I'm tired too. You know, it is what it is. You're going to get the really weird side of me today. Yeah. So we do different types of styles of training. So we have a strength day, we have time under tension, we have high volume, lightweight, we have a technical day where we try and teach you complex exercises with a kettlebell, because if it's taught right, it's great. And it's a really fun tool and you can do some really cool things with it that keep your training exciting and versatile.
Versatile?
There we go. I love you, babe. Thanks.
Versa grips.
Versa this, versa that, versa this, versa that.
And we also have an open format day. That's going to be the Fridays. So yeah, each day has this theme, like Anna said, and I'm excited for it.
Me too. And that's actually what we're filming right now, which is why I'm saying we're so tired. We've been filming for the past couple of weeks. We've got 4 more days left of filming.
Yeah.
So we figured
3.
Yeah. Hey, up top. Hey, ooh.
Boom.
3 more days of filming with our incredible girls, Becky and Dana. We are going to be showing 3 different versions on the screen at once, showing you regressions, showing you progressions, showing you options that you can do. No matter what level you're at, we've got something for you. Mm-hmm. So that will be coming out very soon. But like Paolo said, we have divided it into these 5 weeks of training. Each week has a theme. Week number 1 is...
Well, just to give a little background before we jump into it.
Yes.
This past year, Hannah and I went on an incredible, wonderful, challenging, beautiful, tough, and life-changing, and keep going, and life-changing trip. And then one of the things that I did for myself, Hannah was already on this incredible high and vibe. She's been eating books, not literally, but been consuming a ton of books. And I haven't. And this is one thing that I put for myself, to read more, to acquire more knowledges and more skills on whatever that is. And one of the things that we came across was this podcast, this dude called Ryan Holiday. And he has a podcast called The Daily Stoic. He also has a bookstore in Texas, and he's the author of many books that essentially translate in simple terms many of the teachings and ideas behind Stoicism, which is an ancient philosophy that's driven men and women through the past 2,000 years, men and women ranging from Marcus Aurelius, Abraham Lincoln, and the list just goes on and on and on. And there was this one book that we came across called The Obstacle is the Way. And after both read this book, we started implementing a couple of things from the Stoic philosophy into our lives. Is this something that I can say for myself that I'll never be able to say that I am a Stoic? I can only say that I try to be every day. And every day I fail, and every day I keep trying. That's just how it is. So we try to bring some of these ideas, teachings to our program. And so, go ahead, week one.
I mean, even to help give my 2 cents on that as well, like this whole idea of ancient Stoicism is pretty interesting when you zoom out and look at it from like a higher level, which is over years, humans have existed, and in some way, shape, or form, whether it be trying to beat a pandemic, I know that we're saying that now, or the plague, or war, or whatever, or stress of life, or kids, and parenting, and all of these things that happen, I guess the long and the short of it is that life is tough, and there is no right or wrong way to do it, and it can feel overwhelming for every single person on the planet. But I think because we've been through so much time, over time there's been recurring patterns that people have tried to either follow, whether it be through religion, Stoicism, spirituality, whatever it is, but this idea of having some kind of structure or formulas to help life feel a little bit easier.
Yeah, that's a good point you made, because today we can turn around and say, my life is this and that. Turns out that people 2,000 years ago, they were feeling the same way that we are feeling.
And you can break this down even further to now, like CBT, cognitive brain therapy, which is about helping you implement tips and tools and techniques to help you deal, right? I guess that's the bottom line of it, is like just to help you deal, right? Cope with life and whatever it throws your way. So there's ancient scriptures that we're referring to now, but there are still so many new modern day Stoics, but they've been reincarnated in some different version, whether it be a Jay Shetty or a Gary Vee or something like this, right? There's always some kind of person that we're looking at going, wow, man, how the fuck are they doing this so well? How are they able to handle this, and this, and they've got this going on, and they've got this thing going on, but we're all given 24 hours a day. What's the secret? What's the secret? It's not a secret. You're not going to get handed. It's just hard work to implement more and more techniques to help you seize the day and get more out of life, right?
And that goes from self-discipline, tips, just things that people used to do 2,000 years ago, like I said, and they still do to this day. Journaling, meditation, just try to live life through a certain standards of values of, Stoicism itself. It basically falls into 4 pillars, which is courage, you can help me here, temperance, wisdom, and we'll get back to you on that.
No, I want to know what it is.
Oh, me too.
I just burped. I'm really sorry.
Oh, cool, babe. That's awesome.
Erica, shout out for the meatballs, yo.
You're nasty. You're a nasty little girl, yeah.
Sorry.
Anyways, going back to
what is the 4th one?
I'll look up.
Okay.
Go on.
Well, we split this into 4, and there's a book called The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, like Paolo was saying, and it is so cool to see these patterns that happen over and over and over again, and I think that we can relate all of these to fitness, and fitness is my coping mechanism, will you say, rather than religion or whatever else that other people lean to help them get through and deal with life, and a lot of the practices that these Stoics used to do, I also do in my life, and things such as having a morning routine and journaling and kind of working through your thoughts. I'm an extremely introspective person, which I think helps and hurts you as life goes on. But we've tried to apply this to fitness. So the first theme for week 1 is Omnia Paratus, which is the Latin phrase which translates to, what is it, babe?
It's a Latin term that translates to ready for anything. And essentially, we pose this question to ourselves and to everyone following us on the program. What's the reason why we show up every day to self-inflict pain and put our bodies through these hour-long workouts, 30-minute workouts that completely sucks our soul, and it puts us into this dark place And we come out of it, most of the times we come out of it a better person, we would like to think. And the idea is why, though? But why? Why do you keep coming? Knowing that for most people, even for fitness professionals, some people may not love the workout itself. What they do love is what the workout makes them become, right? And some people get obsessed with that and they just keep going. Dave Goggins says he fucking hates running. He absolutely hates running. But he wakes up almost every single day at 3:30 in the morning to run 37 miles. And the reason why he does is because that self-discipline, that being a savage fuck, simply turns him into someone who can handle more of life. So that's essentially the idea. Why the fuck do we train? And week one is to share some of our ideas, things that we do, things that we think, things that we kind of live by. And we just shine some light on the reasons why we do it, right?
Yeah, and that is it. Pal, I think, just wrapped it all up. But that's it. Why do we train? That's a common question all the time. It's like, oh, do you compete? That's often from strangers. It's like, no. I set myself deadlines. I set myself little mini competitions and challenges and things that I do and implement to challenge myself in my own life to keep me motivated, to keep me in check, to force me to implement discipline even in times when I don't want to. But no, I don't have a deadline. I don't have a stage or a competition that I'm training for. It's been a long time. I mean, I haven't really taken time off. I've been training pretty solid since 2012, dude. That's almost 10 years. I just burped again.
Stop.
These meatballs, do you smell it?
Focus.
Sorry, it stinks. But it's been 10 years. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think it's important that we make it clear that whenever we do something temporarily, it doesn't have longevity, right? If I do something really hard and really intensely and give it my all, but for this much time, what happens after that? So I've tried to look at fitness in a very different way, which is patience, right? And like, this is a long-term goal for me. I want to be doing this forever. So we need to do things. I look at fitness very differently now at the age I am than I did when I began. It was like I wanted it right here, right now. But no, I think that fitness comes for so many more benefits than just winning. And winning doesn't mean coming first place, winning a medal, winning a race, winning this, that, and the other. To me, it means like winning by showing up for yourself every day because, like Paolo said, there are so many more benefits that come along with training because I truly believe that your mind and your body are connected. And the sharper my body is, the stronger my body is, the quicker and the more agile, the more I can balance, the more I can really push myself to these uncomfortable spaces physically, the more I can do that mentally too, because it's mind and body is one.
Yeah. To me, and this is one of the things that I share during the week one of the program, to me is simply becoming better at doing hard things on a daily basis. And that's what I personally try and do, especially from Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday kind of cut some slack and we just kind of play around, but to do hard things every single day. And that, in other words, that really means just showing up, right? Wake up at a certain time every day. Do I need it? No. However, if I do it every single day, the one time that I really have to wake up at that certain time, I'm going to be already ready for it. And then first thing doing in the morning is to feed my mind and read. Again, why? Well, because it's the one time of the day that I can do it and my mind is fresh for it. So every single time that we have to sit down and read something during business hours, it's a practice thing that carries out. And then train first thing in the morning. And it's just creating these habits of doing hard things every single day. And training became one of them. And the reason why we do it, the reason why I do it, is so we become calloused. We become better at handling stress. Physical, sure, but since every physical workout puts us through a mental trip, we're also working the mental side. So whenever the real life problems show up with whatever it is, it could be a phone call in the middle of the night saying that a tragedy happened, or it could be the business failing. It could be anything. We're ready to deal with it because we have already been bent over and over again, physically and mentally. So whenever we're actually tested, you're able to bend yourself without breaking. And that's one of the ideas of doing hard things every single day.
Yeah, and we kind of break that down and dedicate that idea to a different week. Millennium for resilience, and that is definitely something that could also fall over and pour into every other week.
Which
right?
they all
But,
do, because
it flows.
Yeah.
It definitely flows. But, you know, when we look at it from a physical side, when people say, why do you train? I'm going to use one of our ambassadors right now for an example, because she made me look at fitness in a very different way as well. Opened up my mind because it's a different stage of life that I'm not at yet. I'm 31. Diane happens to be older than me. I'm not sure exactly how old she is, so I don't want to throw out a number in case I offend anyone. But she's older than us, for sure, and she has a different clientele. And we were on a call, and we were talking about finding a reason, like, what's your reason? She's like, you know, I have many reasons, but I was just walking in the park, and I fell. And I think that I should have hurt myself, or I should have at least dropped stuff, or something should have broken, something should have gone wrong because it was a pretty bad fall. But my reaction time and my response to dropping or falling was so fast that she protected herself. And she's like, I don't think that I would have been able to do that if I wasn't so in tune with my body. The kettlebell work that we do, and this is very specific to this program, like, it forces you to not only physically do something and get from point A to point B, but you cannot turn your brain off. If you're doing a kettlebell flow and you stop focusing on what's coming right now and be in this flow state in the absolute present and be thinking about the next move, then there's no fucking way that you're going to make it through this flow, because that's what we're here for, is to put you in a very present moment that you have to be in this flow state of being so aware of your mind and your body, and they're working together to get you to some place. So ready for anything? Why do I train? Oh, I train like this, and I appreciate, and I'm so grateful for my body and my fitness when we do stuff like what we've been doing in the last year, when we go on hikes and we're able to go see the most incredible places, because we can go hike 20 miles in one day and fucking run for shits and giggles on the way down and try and beat it to the boat and like have these life experiences and just kind of go through life at such an easier space physically that allows you to enjoy life so much more in so many other ways. Like, I never want to be, I hear these stories all the time of like people being so aware and of their parents being so out of shape, so against trying to move, and they can't go on a hike. They can't do these things with their family because their parents are in a walker because they're diabetic and they're overweight and they have massive pain every single day just getting from the car to the house. Like, I'm so afraid of that. And I think that, you know, obviously a lot of things come up that are out of our control, but there is so much that we can do that's in our control to be ahead of the curve, to not let ourselves get to that place, and to maintain this strong body and strong mind so that we are literally ready for anything that life throws our way, be it a fucking natural disaster, that we can be out in the community helping, trying to save the fucking day, or, you know, using our strength to serve other people that are not able as we are. Like, being ready for anything is so much more than this idea of, you know, I train because I want to look good. Like, that's always going to be a reason that we all have. Like, I'd be lying if I sat here and I'm saying that I don't think about that. I absolutely do think about my physique. I absolutely do think about my aesthetics, but it's not here on my list of reasons, you know? It maybe was when I began, but shit, when you want to eat like shit and you don't want to move at all, like, the last thing on your mind is like, I'm going to show up tomorrow because I want to look this way. It's like, fuck that. I don't want to look that way. I'm just going to eat this, or I'm just going to do that. But when it's something so much deeper than that, and it's like, I have a responsibility to keep my body in shape. You know, I'm a part of a community. I want to be able to give back. I want to be able to play with my kids and my grandkids and be able to do things that uses my strength to help other people that can't. Like, this isn't about me looking good. This is about so much more than that.
Yeah. And I think that in a selfish way, to me, it's to have the ability of living a fulfilling life that involves trying things that I've never done before, but I know that because I am physically able and mentally strong, I can get through it and just give it a go. Sure, I may fail incredibly, but I'm going to fail gracefully.
You know what just happened in my brain? I want you guys to look up Via Ferrata.
Shit,
leave it right
Via
there.
Ferrata.
Right?
We did that.
We did that. Like, what the actual fuck? I thought we were going on a hike that day.
Yeah.
We showed up, and Google it. Via Ferrata. VIA space FERRATA, right?
Yeah. Well, we're going to put a link right
below. But,
right over here.
But
Look.
just
Bing.
understand that, like, if we were not in shape, if we weren't fit or if we weren't mentally strong to keep our shit fucking
Keep a pep
calm
talk, yeah.
and to keep your mind positive and know that you've got to implement these techniques. And I was coaching myself through so much of that shit. You know, I was so in my head because I'm terrified of heights. We literally like crawled around the edge of a cliff on the side of a mountain for a long way. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, attached to little staples on the mountain. That's one example. Or the other time we were with our friends in Montana and in Texas, and we went wake surfing.
Oh, yeah.
Never done that before. But it's the only reason why we did is because we are able, because we're able to move. We have body awareness. We have, you know, the bottom line is to keep showing up. And
we snowshoed up the mountain before sunrise.
Oh my God, that was one of the hottest
That was a test for physical.
I have ever fucking
done. And then snowboarded down for like a mile and a half uphill like this. And I've never snowboarded before.
And it takes a lot of it took a lot of mindset on my side, on my part, because I got my ass kicked.
But you did so good.
But that's the whole idea, is to keep showing up. You read that book, Atomic Habits. Mm-hmm. I was listening to a podcast, and the author
James Clear.
Yes. Oh, there you go. He's talking about the 2-minute rule. Does he talk about that in the book? And so he was coaching this person into fitness. And they did not have a fitness background. They struggled just going to the gym and showing up and working out. And he says that one of the techniques that he used, or someone else that he was working with used, was that person's job was solely to show up at the gym and work out only for 2 minutes. That's it. For, I think, 4 weeks. That's it. Your only job is to show up and do it for 2 minutes. If after 2 minutes you want to stay, cool. But if after 2 minutes you still really want to get the fuck out, get out. That's it. And the idea behind it is to start creating the habit in the mind of saying, it's time to go, so I'm going to go. Even though your mind is probably saying, oh no, man, it's the end of the day. You woke up early. We had a tough day at work. Shit, we barely ate today. You forgot the pre-workout. Your knees leaves is not in. Forgot your belt. Or shit, you forgot your headphones. Oh, fuck, this one is like...
Okay, so this is what you're referring to, because you say this a lot. This is what you call negotiating with yourself.
Yep.
So that idea, what all those examples that Paolo just gave is like a narrative inside of your head that you're negotiating as to, you're going to come up with a reason why you don't need to go all the way or even go at all. And you're going to justify it in your brain, which actually leads to a podcast that I just listened to as well, which is all of those thoughts come into your brain when you give your mind enough time to make a decision. Okay? You make a decision to take action, then you're going to take action, and that small decision is going to lead to the next and the next and the next and the next. But the idea of pressing snooze isn't just about pressing snooze. You're allowing yourself to fall into a different state of mind that you've justified why you're doing this, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? Every small decision is going to amount to a massive end result, right? So this lady is like, next time an initial thought comes to your brain, make an instant decision and make it in 5 seconds. So it's a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule, which is what is used universally throughout every single stage of life with children. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. The military, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're in. And apparently that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, your brain is tuned to know that that means go.
It learns
that the pattern means 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take action. So in your brain, when you're like, rather than being like, oh, I don't have my shoes and it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Now so much time has passed that now you're in a totally different, your brain is, I don't know all the technical terms for this, but the parts of your brain that you're using are so different. They're like decisive. You're making decisions. You're not taking action. Yeah. When you go into 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 mode, you are executing and moving forward. And I do it all the time. Like, I think ever since I've been listening to it, rather than in my brain going, oh God, I've got to do this. It's like, I look at what I need to do and go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I get up and I move and just do it. Even if it means moving towards something else, it's going to get me closer to it. But just don't sit still and make these decisions in your brain. Take action.
Yeah. And so, the idea about the 2 minutes is this. It's just about showing up. And once you start showing up, even if you stay for 2 minutes, you showed up. But you see, your brain can't really tell the difference because it tried to negotiate with you and you decided to show up, period. So the mind, which in our lives nowadays, hell, the mind is usually the master of everything and we're just the servants, right? Because our mind is so in control unless you do take time to meditate, to take a hold of your mind and say, no, I'm not going to do it. This is what we're going to do instead. So you trick yourself because the brain lost. The mind lost that battle. And after you show up, even for 2 minutes, for long enough, it becomes a habit. And now you just created a new habit. And for you to break the habit, it's going to take for you to fuck with yourself a lot more. So then, after these 4 or 5 weeks, well, they realized that the person created the habit of showing up, and then staying in the gym for longer became second nature.
I love that.
But yeah, cool, right?
Yeah. So I think a great idea and exercise to align with this week is like, ready for anything. Write down things that you wish you could do.
Yeah.
And that could be like, we're actually planning a trip to hike from rim to rim in the Grand Canyon. Like, that could be a massive bucket list thing for someone to do that if they're not in the right physical shape, that I want to be able to do this in a lifetime. We take it for granted that that's something that we're just going to do this year. You know, like it's a no-brainer. But when you zoom out, like that's a massive feat. That's over 20 plus miles, I think, maybe even more than 25 miles in one day.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't know the things that you want to do, maybe start by writing down the things you don't want to do, because those are going to show all the I wants, right? And you can write things as simple as, I don't want to be in a situation where my mom falls and I cannot pick her up from the floor. That would be devastating. Can you imagine that? Or, and again, this is just one really big and like, you know, tough one, but think about on these terms. Think about the things that you don't want to happen to you, and if they involve any sort of you showing up, to taking care of yourself, to exercising, to basically working on this one body that we're giving and working on this one fucking mind that we're given, that you're trapped with every single day for the rest of your life, then shit, that's going to open up many other possibilities of the I want. And once you find out the I wants.
Yeah. And I just thought right now, like, there's so many different types of people that are watching and listening, and my brain was just going through like what I could imagine of people writing down, and it goes from things such as, I want to be able to take a yoga class. Maybe you don't have the mobility or the confidence to show up to a yoga class full of a room full of 60, 70 people, like the yoga joint that we have around here. Or maybe you want to base jump. That's fucking crazy, and maybe you're physically super able, but you want to push it even further there. Yeah. Maybe you want to be able to fit in a freaking roller coaster chair and not have to be embarrassed that you can't do your seat belt up. I don't know. Like, there's so many different wants and needs that goes beyond what you look like, right? It's like, let yourself be able to physically do these things, and don't let your physical self limit you, you know? And the fitter we are, the more aware we are of our bodies and our ability to know that it's an equation. Well, it's like a addition equation. Like, you add it, the more you add in, the more you get out. Mm-hmm. Michael Phelps, is that who I was talking about? His coach, and him were like, I know we say this all the time, but like, training is like a bank account. You don't get to cash out, right, until the games. So him is like, you train for the Olympics for fucking years. For what? 30 seconds sometimes? Yep. Maybe it's even 10 seconds if you're diving, whatever, or it might be even a millisecond if you're doing something. You train for years. No one is able to keep their motivation that high as an Olympic athlete for that many years without having their hands in the fucking pot. But if you switch your brain to understand, like, you're cashing in. Every day you show up to training, you're putting money in the bank. And you get to take all of that out on game day. Mm-hmm. But game day may be a deadline for the Olympics. Game day may be a life emergency. Then you cash everything out right then and right there. And the more money you got in the bank, the more fucking reward, or the more positive reward you get from your hard fucking earnings and hard work.
Or the
right?
more the odds will be on your side.
Yeah. So you don't necessarily need a deadline. The end of this challenge or the beginning of this challenge is not the end. This is just a stage in the journey to keep you in the game, to keep you cashing in.
There you go.
Because we all need to keep putting the chips in the bank, you know?
That's it.
That's it.
Any closing thoughts, babe?
Yeah, I'm really excited for this program, and it's actually helped me as well because this has been an interesting year of having to operate a lot more and implement a lot more of the techniques that we teach others into my own life. And turns out that shit works.
It does work. This is the first time in my life, I'm 36 today, that I'm holding myself accountable to the words that I say, to the things that I say in our classes, to our athletes all over the world. I think that today, compared to any other time before, is the time that I've been the most honest to myself, trying to do exactly what I propose you to do. And we're here with you.
I love
it's
that.
hard. There is no being. Remember this. Please remember this. There is no being. There's only doing. So don't think that, oh, I am this, I am that. It doesn't matter. Because if you start thinking about that, you're going to forget about all the things that you had to do to get to that point. And once you start thinking about being and becoming, you forget about doing. So wake up, do it every single fucking day, even if it's hard, or especially if it's hard.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
See you next time.